For 3 weeks, it only required that, just 3 excruciating weeks. There is nothing gentle about the story you are about to hear. Because it starts with a man who just wanted to be loved and ends with him learning about a past he was never supposed to see. And it all began with a single, insignificant tidbit that would alter Harry's perception of the lady he married. To improve your understanding, let's start from the beginning. Harry couldn't figure out why he was fixated on that picture of Croatia. 3 weeks had passed since the boat photos went viral on the internet, yet something inside of him would not let it go. He would zoom in, zoom out, gaze at it, go away, return and gaze once again. He sensed that the picture was concealing something from him. Then, one evening, he observed something he had never seen before. A tiny navy blue canvas bag was pushed off to the side of the yacht's deck. The gold lettering on the front struck him like ice water, even though it wasn't ostentatious or loud. The Soho house. Harry felt his stomach turn around. This was more than just a wealthy person's yacht. It was a yacht owned by members of Soho House. Meghan had spent years living in the same exclusive, member-only club. The same location where power was present in every room, every occasion, every meal and every whisper. All of a sudden, something that had before seemed to be a coincidence stopped seeming that way. Harry's chest constricted. He knew that until he realized what this meant, he would not go to sleep. He then opened a new browser and with trembling hands typed 3 names that up until now had never seemed odd to him. Meghan Markle, Marcus Anderson and Soho House. Harry's blood raced cold when the search results appeared. Harry always assumed Marcus Anderson was just Meghan's eccentric buddy from Toronto, a stylish, gregarious man who enjoyed social gatherings. However, the man he believed he knew did not match what he had discovered. Marcus wasn't just present. The scene was him. Harry had to search like a detective for old society blogs, erased interviews, archived periodicals concealed behind broken connections, and secret pages. Everybody said the same thing. Marcus was more than a consultant. He worked as an access broker. He made connections between affluent, influential men and ambitious, attractive women. He introduced newbies to established elites, models to financiers and actresses to producers. He is the man who makes sure the correct people get together, according to someone. Each article presented the same image. Marcus avoided going to gatherings. They were engineered by him. With his heart racing, Harry reclined on his chair. He felt stupid. The front row seat at their wedding, the whispered discussions, the odd feeling that Marcus was constantly around. How had he never questioned Marcus's presence? However, the insight struck him even more forcefully. What if Marcus was more than simply Meghan's pal? What if he was in charge of her? Harry selected a different site, which was an archive of old pictures from Toronto's social scene. All of his preconceived notions about his wife, his past, and even how they met would be altered over the course of the following 6 hours. Harry was unwilling to accept any of it. His entire being hoped that he was misinterpreting what he had discovered, that the timings, overlaps and pictures were all odd coincidences. But as soon as he answered the phone, that expectation was dashed. Harry called someone he hadn't spoken to in years, a former Soho House member from his London party days, late at night when the house was quiet and Meghan was asleep. This person knew that world better than anybody else and wouldn't lie. Harry's voice was hardly audible when the man responded. "I have a question for you regarding Marcus Anderson." On the other end, there was a prolonged period of stillness. The man then let out a sigh. Harry heard a truth he was never meant to hear for the following 40 minutes. There was no social circle that Marcus Anderson belonged to. He operated a finishing school according to insiders. Not for access, not for manners, not for etiquette. The friend clarified that he seeks out ambitious ladies. He trains women who wish to climb. He instructs them on proper attire, speech patterns, and how to interact with influential individuals without appearing out of place. He introduces them to men who can open doors, brings them into Soho House, and provides them with the necessary connections. He has a strategic mind. Harry listened in a frigid hush. The speaker went on, "Marcus isn't just well-connected. He has access to secret guest rosters, event lists, and calendars. He exploits his knowledge of certain people's whereabouts and times to generate possibilities." The parts clicked together as Harry gazed at the wall. Marcus had attended charity gala events in 2014, polo tournaments in 2013, and gatherings in London where Harry was in the background. Constantly near, constantly observing, constantly linked. Long before Harry entered the scene, Meghan had attended Marcus' school. The guy then said something that made Harry feel sick to his stomach. Marcus positions people rather than merely introducing them. Harry was ill. Harry started to wonder about something else after realizing what Marcus actually did. How was all of this possible for Meghan? Her travels around Europe, her designer apparel, her Soho House memberships in several cities, her stays in five-star hotels during yacht weeks, and her attendance at every prestigious event Marcus organised. Harry was aware of her suit income. He was aware of her financial situation. It didn't stack up either. Not even near. He therefore made touch with someone who was still involved with Soho House Toronto. Following a cautious and quiet discussion, Harry's hands went cold at what he discovered. Meghan's membership had been paid for in full without any discounts or partial coverage. Meghan had not paid a single membership fee in 5 years. The contact hesitated when Harry inquired who had funded her. One long pause followed by another. Marcus has ways of making sure certain women have access, the man finally remarked in a worried tone. No questions asked, corporate accounts and anonymous approvals. Meghan has been the subject of investment. She had been paid to get up by someone. Her transition from a cable show actress to a worldwide socialite who was a perfect fit in upscale settings had been funded by someone. Harry picked up a pen and began to do some maths. Travel between Toronto, New York, London, Istanbul, Barcelona, Miami, designer clothes for every occasion, Soho House lifestyle costs, lodging for a week on a yacht, hair, makeup and opulent styling. He was struck hard by the total. $70,000 annually. Furthermore, Meghan's earnings were insufficient to cover even half of it. Her climb had been supported by someone. Harry was unable to ignore the money trail once he saw it. Harry felt as though his whole life had been changed behind his back by this point. However, nothing could have prepared him for what followed. He did something he hadn't done since the wedding one morning. He entered his office, took out the official guest list for the wedding and opened a drawer. His team and Meghan's classified all 600 names neatly. Meghan's side had never caught his attention previously. He trusted her, but now that he had fresh eyes, what he saw destroyed any remaining innocence. Jessica Mulron, frequent at Soho House, and Marcus Anderson, front row. Misha Nono, a member of Soho House, set up the blind date. Another member is Serena Williams. Years before Harry made an appearance, Meghan was seen with executives, regulars and others at Soho House parties. Harry reached for a highlighter first, then another. More than 60 of Meghan's 200 guests had a direct connection to Soho House. These weren't pals from childhood, they weren't co-workers in Hollywood, they served as her network, the same individuals that witnessed her ascend through Marcus's system. Harry then noticed a picture from the front desk. Marcus was standing with 4 Soho House officials, all of whom were holding champagne and grinning like they had accomplished a goal. Harry came to a realization that he wished he could forget. There was no celebration of love at his wedding. It was a summit, an assembly of the network that shaped her and connected her to him. Harry had stopped sleeping. He was also not eating much. His days were spent looking, verifying, cross-referencing and attempting to breathe normally despite the panic that was now a constant in his chest. He hadn't yet touched one item though, something he had shunned for many years. His voicemail file. Suddenly a silent recollection that he had hidden deep inside of himself surfaced. Harry never paid attention to the messages William had left him prior to the engagement. As he browsed through years' worth of recordings, reminders and forgotten notes, his hands trembled, then he noticed it. November of 2017. He recalled angrily rejecting a voicemail. He hit the play button. Calm, solemn and almost pleading, William's voice filled the room. You must pay attention to me, Harry. A background check was conducted by Palace Security. Meghan has spent years with the Soho House gang. Marcus Anderson has a well-known reputation. He puts women in a situation. Since 2014, she has been pictured with men from your globe. This isn't a coincidence. Before you make a proposal, please investigate this. Harry froze. He played it again. He then played it again. His brother didn't feel envious. He was not attempting to exert authority over him. He wasn't passing judgment on Meghan. He possessed intelligence. 2 more voicemails were discovered by Harry. In one, William said that security discovered Meghan at gatherings associated with Harry's charitable contributors. In another, he cautioned Harry once more about Marcus's close connections to Harry's social group. Without paying attention, Harry had erased those messages. He was blinded by love and believed that everyone was trying to make him unhappy. William, however, wasn't undermining him. He was rescuing him. Harry had also closed the door in his face. Something inside of him was broken by that realization. Nowadays, Harry spends the majority of his nights awake, gazing up at the ceiling and reliving every second of the last 10 years. Every smile, every coincidence, every introduction and every fortunate discussion. Was any of it ever true? Or was he just the last piece in a lengthy, meticulously constructed puzzle? In the shadows, the truth he previously refused to confront now murmurs to him. Meghan avoided falling into his world. Together with Marcus Anderson, she sponsored, guided, and positioned herself as she gradually ascended into it. Harry, the young man who had spent his entire life hoping that someone would accept him for who he was, ultimately realized that he had not been selected. He had been singled out, and the misery he currently lives in is that realization.